it's Luke bringing you my top 6 value plays for the BMW Championship this week for Draftkings Golf. We'll be covering my favorite plays priced $7,500 and below on Draftkings according to my custom modeling for this week. If you're new to the channel, the custom modeling I use takes into consideration the course that players will be playing on any given week, their skill set given the entire year. So essentially trying to figure out who the best fits for the golf course are going to be. Of course, we take a look at recent form, some of their historical splits in terms of putting stats, around the green stats, all that kind of good stuff, to give you guys a comprehensive view of the best golfers for any given tournament. This week it's the BMW Championship, like I mentioned before, down at Caves Value Golf Club in Baltimore, Maryland. If you're looking for a full course breakdown, I have that on my channel as well. Link in the description will be there for that video. But without further delay, let's hop into the top 6 value plays for this week on DraftKings Golf. Now we're kicking it off with the man himself at number 6, Phil Mickelson. I got on the PGA Championship hat right here. Got to see that shot in person there on 18. He's only $6,300 this week, and over his last 24 measured rounds, he's been gaining everywhere but around the green, which is very atypical of Phil Mickelson if you've been following his career. He's been a consistent ball striker over that stretch, though, with shots gained on the greens as well. While he hasn't dazzled by any means, he's made a few cuts, hasn't really finished in the top 25 or anything like that. He pretty much needs a win right now to continue his 2021 season, so he has plenty of motivation here at Caves Value. I also think that he has a very good skill set fit for this golf course. He has more than enough length necessary to take advantage of some of the shorter holes here. He's also one of, if not the best short game player of all time. So the around the green woes of late, those are likely to rebound for Phil Mickelson. I also like that he's been gaining consistently off the tee with his irons as well. He seems to have found something with his ball striking, has clearly been working on it a whole lot. And he's far from a safe pick this week, but he only cost $6,300. He's really the lowest I'm looking to spend on a DraftKings board. Pretty much anyone priced below him is just a little bit too volatile for me this week, but I'm willing to take a few shots on him because of his high upside. Obviously at the PGA Championship, that's an extreme example of the kind of upside that he brings, but we've seen him pop 3 or 4 times over the past year or so. We saw it last year at Memphis. He ended up finishing second place. We saw it a few times of late making cuts, posting first round leader type stuff. So Phil Mickelson, while he's obviously a huge household name, is going to likely be overlooked on DFS because a lot of people don't have enough belief in him for it, and he's priced so low on the board. So I'm willing to go there in a few of my lineups this week. At number 5, we have Kevin Streelman at $7,200. He's pretty much the polar opposite of a Phil Mickelson. He's not flashy at all. He's more reliant, more consistent. A lot of that comes with the iron play that he brings to the table. But he's also shown the ability of late to take apart a golf course with his precision. So look no further than that same PGA Championship where Phil Mickelson dazzled. Kevin Streelman was in the second to last group. For a very long time was in contention, was the third place finisher in that golf tournament. A lot of people tend to forget that. And over his last 24 rounds, which does not include that great finish, he's been gaining everywhere tee to green with a notable 0.56 shots gained on approach per round. So he's been rolling his rock better than usual of late as well, just losing 0.1 shots gained on the greens compared to 0.3, which is his historical baseline. And we've seen him have ceiling weeks with the putter, so he's a volatile putter, somebody that goes out and gains a stroke or two putting certain weeks, loses a stroke or two putting the next week. We saw that ceiling at the PGA Championship. We saw it at the Wyndham Championship just a few weeks ago where he put together a very good finish. And if he can do so on the greens this week, he can very much put himself in contention. So at $7,200, he's very far from my favorite value play this week, but he definitely has a clear avenue for success at Caves Value. At number 4, we have Sebastian Munoz. He's only $6,700. Much riskier of a play than Streelman. He's somebody who's been a lot more volatile of late, has been more volatile for his entire career at that. But he's somebody who's been sneaky good of late, and anytime I find a sneaky good golfer, I usually get rewarded heftily. So over his last 24 measured rounds, he's been a ball striking extraordinaire, gains of 0.4 strokes off the tee per round, also gains of 0.32 strokes on approach per round. So on top of the ball striking, he's also been rolling his rock very well. Has resulted in a high birdie or better percentage as a result. So obviously it's very intuitive. He's been putting himself in good positions off the tee with his iron shots. He's been making a fair share of putts. That's obviously a good recipe for success. And without a cut this week, I'm targeting guys with this higher birdie upside. He can go out, make a bunch of double bogeys, a bunch of triple bogeys as well. Obviously his weakness is that volatility, but at a no-cut event like this where he can go out, make all those birdies, he can more than make up for it. Emiliano Grillo is somebody who, models very similarly to Sebastian Munoz, somebody who's highly volatile, somebody who has a very good off the tee game and approach play game. Somebody I talked about in my core plays video, so I expect both of them to have very good weeks. And Sebastian Munoz for me is just a little bit more expensive version of Emiliano Grillo. And number 3, we have Stewart Cink at $6,600. It seems like a little bit of a misprice by DraftKings. Cink is a 2-time winner on tour this year and seemingly has a great skill set for this golf course as well. Despite a run of mediocre play, he still boasts significant gains of 0.49 shots gained approach per round. He's also been about neutral everywhere else, so it's not like he's been killing himself with any part of his game, and I really think he's due for a pop week at Caves Valley. So if we take a look at the length necessary to take down this golf course, he has plenty of it. He's one of the top 10 longest players in this field, which for Stewart Cink is definitely a little bit sneaky. I don't think people think of him as a bomber by any means, but he has been in the 2021 season. And if he can go out and hit a little bit more fairways than he's used to, he could really pop this week. He has that length, so if he hits some of those fairways, he's going to gain upwards of 5-6 strokes off the tee. Has been great with his approach play, has popped with his putter from time to time. And bentgrass has historically been a great surface for Cink. So a return to the surface could very well be beneficial for the nearly 50-year-old, and I expect a strong performance at the BMW Championship. At number 2, we have Jhonattan Vegas, somebody who was a fade of mine the last few weeks. I didn't really buy in with the putter. We saw him falter a bit these last 2 weeks, but now he's down at $7,100. No one's going to want to play Jhonattan Vegas. And if you're spending up for some of the bombers this week, I think he's a great correlation play with some of the guys up top. So it's no mystery he's been one of the best golfers in the world over the past month and a half. Has stumbled a bit over his last 2 performances though, but he's done that with great gains off the tee and on approach. So 0.6 shots gained off the tee per round and also 0.75 shots gained on approach per round. Those are both excellent numbers, elite numbers for this field. And while I was quick to identify his putting strength of late as a little bit of a aberration, a little bit of negative regression due, maybe he's gone past that. So the last 8 events, he's gained strokes in 6 of the last 8 events putting. So this is a little bit beyond an aberration at this point. It seems as if he's found something with his putter, and he's done it on primarily on the bent grass surface or even the POA surface. Both of those are by far his worst putting surfaces. So if he can continue the ball striking momentum like he has been for the last 3-4 months at this point, that's very likely to continue. But if he continues that putting momentum, watch out. He could go out and win this golf tournament. I absolutely love Jhonattan Vegas at $7,100. But my number 1 value play this week is somebody I've already bet on this week, somebody who's grown on me a ton, and I just think it's Maverick McNealy week, guys. He comes in at $7,000, and I was borderline ready to bet him before the week, but the more and more I looked into the numbers, the more and more I fell in love with his game. So over his last 24 rounds, he's top 15 in the field in driving distance. Also boasts gains of 0.62 shots gained off the tee per round, 0.2 strokes around the green. He's always been a good around the green player, and half a stroke putting per round. So the only stat where he hasn't been elite has been his approach play, but he's still significantly positive in that category at nearly 0.1 strokes per round. So we saw him turn on the approach play at the Barbasol and Barracuda. That's why he ended up finishing top 5 in both of those events. And again, it's been the least consistent part of his game, but it's also been a part of his game that we've seen do very well over the years. He's also been very good around the green. Even as a rookie, he was very good around the green. We've seen him have plenty of success over the years at Pebble Beach. Pebble Beach is also a course of very small greens, lots of undulations, a course that really emphasizes around the green play, just like the course we're going to be seeing this week with Caves Valley. So Maverick McNealy, somebody who's a great course fit, somebody who's a great price at $7,000, coming in with great form, historically plays well on courses with small greens. Again, the only hole I can poke in his game is that approach play, but we've seen him pop the last few weeks. We've seen him have very good finishes the last few weeks as a result. And again, approach play is one of the most consistent stats from week to week on the PGA Tour. So should be able to ride that momentum, and if he does, Still a slightly risky play, but he has by far the highest upside of anybody priced $7,500 and below. That's all I've got for this week's value plays, guys. Let me know who your favorite golfer priced $7,500 and below on DraftKings is for a free month of my Patreon projections. If you guys can get someone priced $7,500 and below that finishes in the top 3 this week, you guys will earn that. So make sure to put a projection down there. We'd all love to hear it. On top of that, guys, please make sure to like and subscribe if you guys enjoyed the content. On top of it, helping you guys see my content when it comes out as soon as I post it, it really helps me out with growing the channel. So it's a win-win right there. Make sure to hit that like and subscribe button. On top of that, guys, make sure to check out my Patreon page. The link is in the description of this video. On there, you guys can find my projections for all the players in this week's field. The best part about it, it's just $1. On top of the projections for every player, you also get my ownership rankings, my custom model rankings, whether they're in my player pool, access to a Discord to ask me any questions that you guys have, whether it's DFS related, lineup related, whatever it is. Very good value. Again, only $1. Link is in the description. And of course, you guys can enter that giveaway. Again, let me know your favorite player, $7,500 and below, for an entry into that. Without further ado, though, guys, good luck with your lineups, and I'll see you guys tomorrow for our ownership reaction that'll have our top 3 fades and sleeper picks for the BMW Championship.